Are you a busy parent? Do you feel like you're being pulled in multiple directions all at once? Are you exhausted and overwhelmed? Meet my mom. Her name is Tanikella. She's a pediatrician, expert in mind-body medicine, and a life coach. She can help you break free from guilt and overwhelm so that you can enjoy the life that you've worked so hard to create. She can also teach you how to support your family in a more holistic way.
Hello and welcome to episode 28. I'm Dr. Tanikella, and today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for so many moms, and that's mom guilt. If you're tuning in, chances are you've felt it at some point, or maybe even today. Maybe it was when you handed your kids a tablet just to get 15 minutes of peace, or maybe it was when you had to miss a school event because work ran over. Here's the thing. Mom guilt doesn't care about your circumstances. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, or somewhere in between, it seems like there's always this nagging feeling that you should be doing more, being more, or sacrificing more. Today, I want to talk about where this guilt comes from, share some personal stories, and give you practical strategies to break free from it, or at least quiet that inner critic. And I just want to say up front, if you're feeling mom guilt, it's actually a sign that you care deeply about your kids. But guilt shouldn't be running the show. So let's get into it. What is mom guilt and why is it so common? Mom guilt is that nagging voice in your head that says that you're not enough. It tells you things like, you're not spending enough time with your kids. You're not doing enough educational activities. You're not feeding them healthy enough meals. Do better. You shouldn't have gotten frustrated when they refused to put their shoes on for the 86th time. And it doesn't stop there. There's guilt if you work because you're not home enough, and guilt if you stay home because you're not contributing financially. Listen all. We often think that the grass is greener on the other side, but the truth is that the grass is just different. And honestly, the impossible expectations are everywhere. So where does this guilt come from? Society's one of those places. Let's face it, there's still the societal expectation that moms should be all things to all people. We see it on TV, we see it in the movies. There's a big difference between the societal expectations of a dad versus a mom. And that's going to be a topic for a future podcast. The next place we get it from is social media. Raise your hand if you've ever scrolled through Instagram or Facebook and seen those picture-perfect moms with their beautiful kids and unstained outfits, eating organic snacks and spotless kitchens. The reality is, they just happened to clean their kitchen that day. Trust me when I say, they didn't take pics on the days that their kitchens were messy. Also, the kids literally just put those shirts on. Give them like 5 minutes. There will be stains on them. How about generational pressure? Some of us grew up in households where moms were expected to sacrifice everything. Did you grow up in a household where you got a pat on the head each time you selflessly did something for someone else? Many of us have internalized that message. Listen, it's not bad to help others, but be mindful of when you do it at your own expense. Understand how that affects you. If self-sacrifice turns you into an overtired, overstimulated, cranky parent that lashes out, you may just be holding yourself to an unrealistic standard. The truth is that no one can be everything to everyone all the time. So let me share a personal story. On a fairly regular basis, I try to juggle work, parenting, and maintain some semblance of a clean house. Often, my kids will ask me to play with them in a way that just melts my heart. Unfortunately, it always feels like there's a to-do list that's a mile long. There were times that I used to feel guilty declining their offer to play. Of course, my internal dialogue at those times used to sound something like this. What kind of mom says no to playing with her kid? Shouldn't I be cherishing these moments? What if I'm missing out on memories that I'm never going to get back? Here's the thing. Kids don't expect us to be perfect. They really just want our love and presence whenever we can give it. So I make it a point to give them that love and presence wherever and whenever I can. Sometimes it's having my daughter get up onto a chair and wash dishes with me. Sometimes it's having my son help me cut veggies for dinner. It's all of us putting our devices away during dinner time so that we can chat and make jokes. And yes, I will put my device away too. And yes, my husband also puts his away. It's the idea of having a dedicated story time. It's throwing clean laundry at each other while we're folding it up. Please don't throw dirty laundry at each other. I'm pretty sure someone's going to get offended. So this is a reminder that being enough doesn't mean doing everything, going to fancy places like Legoland and the Crayola factory and making everything an educational experience. It means showing up with love even when things aren't perfect. Let's talk about some common triggers for mom guilt because identifying these can help us manage them better. One is work-life balance. If you're a working mom, you've probably felt that tug of war between work responsibilities and family time. The truth is, there will be days when work has to take priority, and that's okay. What matters is the overall picture, not one day or one moment. Also, if you need to put family time into your calendar to keep it protected, then do it. To be perfectly honest, for me, if something's not in my calendar, then it doesn't happen. And that includes self-care and family life. Another common trigger is self-care guilt. Taking time for yourself often comes with feelings of guilt. But the truth is that when you care for yourself, you show up as a better, more present mom. Think of it like this. We're always told that we should put our oxygen mask on first on an airplane. Why? Because you have to be alive and with it to be able to help the littles around you. The third common trigger is parenting decisions. Whether it's bottle feeding versus breastfeeding, or it's screen time limits, it seems like every choice is up for judgment. The thing to remember here is that every family is different. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. The fourth trigger is comparisons, what I call compare and despair. Social media makes it so easy to compare ourselves to other moms. I always say, don't compare your behind the scenes life to someone else's highlight reel. It's literally like comparing apples and oranges. All right, so how do we let go of some of this guilt? First, acknowledge that you're experiencing guilt. Instead of pushing it down, say to yourself, I feel guilty because I missed that event. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad mom. It means that I care. Second, challenge unrealistic expectations. Ask yourself, would I expect this from my best friend or my sister? If the answer is no, then why are you expecting it from yourself? Third, focus on what you're doing right. Instead of dwelling on the one thing that you missed, remind yourself of all of the things that you did right today. For those of you who are working moms who often feel like you've missed out on something or other, remind yourself why you're working in the first place. If part of it is to be able to create financial security for your child or children, then you're still doing something for them, right? Lastly, we can let go of some of this guilt by modeling self-compassion. Kids learn from what we do and what we don't do. If they see you being kind to yourself, acknowledging mistakes, and giving yourself compassion for that, they'll learn to be kinder to themselves too. So here's a simple mindset exercise that I love. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Picture your child coming to you in the future. Maybe they're an adult now. And imagine that they feel guilty about something small. Imagine what you would say to comfort them. Now, say those words to yourself. It might sound something like, I see you. You're doing your best. And you are enough. Thank you so much for joining me today. Mom guilt is tough, but I hope this episode gave you some tools and encouragement to handle it with more compassion for yourself. Remember, being a great mom isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up with love, even when things don't go perfectly. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with another mom who might need to hear this message. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out or connect with me on social media. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Until next time, take care of yourself, Mama. You're doing a great job. Be well.
Hey, if you like what you're hearing, give this podcast a 5-star rating and share it with your friends and family. If you want to learn more about my mom and what she does, visit her at iamwellmd.com and subscribe to her email list. If you leave her a comment, you might just get a shout out in her next podcast episode. If you'd like coaching or support, she has programs available for you and your whole family. My mom is a great pediatrician and a great person, and I hope you like her podcast episodes. Have a great day. Goodbye.